everyone, I'm Rachel. In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to create a realistic petal using the Color Therapy app. If you'd like to follow along, search for this image under Rose. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create the fine details in a petal, like adding veins and imperfections. You'll be able to apply this to all kinds of other flowers. Alright, let's get started. I want to color this rose sort of a nice light pink and white color. I'm going to use the second to last color on the second row of the pink palette, and then go under the spray tool. I'm going to set the size at 35 and opacity at 100, and then turn coloring inside the lines mode set to on, and I'm just going to focus on this petal right here. I'm going to spray all those edges all the way around very loosely like this. I'm leaving that inside edge though untouched. Now I'm going to be using the fifth color on the second row, and I'm just going to repeat. And I might just do a little bit here and there, not every single edge. Now over in the red palette, select the third color from the right on the top row. Now I'm going to raise the size to 50 and just repeat. I'm just adding a little here and there just to add some more brightness and variation. Now over in the orange palette, select the fourth color from the right on the top row. It's sort of a yellow color. I'm just going to add that into the bottom of the petal very lightly. Just a very light color, just adding some warmth to it. Now in the red palette, switch back over and grab the fourth color on the top row. This time, let's just lower the size down to 25. And I'm adding in more dark areas into the tip of the petal. Now let's switch over to the flat brush tool. Let's do the opacity at 60 and size 100. Now using that yellowish color that we had before, as well as some white, we're gonna just brush some veins in through the petal. Now let's blend with the smear tool, so size 1 and opacity at 100. And I'm just bringing my finger down into the petal, down to the bottom of it. Make sure you're curving with the shape. You can also blend it the other way around too, so you bring the lighter color up into the darker colors. Now let's go over to the spray tool again. Let's set the size at 15 and opacity at 65. And I'm using the fourth color on the second row under the pink palette, so it's a really dark purple. And now I just want to shade those edges, kind of blending in the veins and shading them so I have a nice gradient. Now let's just blend that shadow just very gently. So let's use the smear tool at size 50 and opacity 100. And just softly blending up into the petal just so those shadows are blended nicely. Using the pen tool, let's do size 1 and opacity 50. So we're gonna just sample some colors. Basically sample all the colors from that petal. Just draw your own little veins. So these are just gonna be little lines going throughout the petal. And you can sample pinks and you can bring that into the lighter color as well. And if you want, you can also raise the opacity up so you can make them a little brighter if needed. Now you want to blend it also, so just use the smear tool, and this time size 1 and opacity 100. Just blend those veins so they look a little more natural. And it doesn't have to be all the veins or all the areas, just a little bit, the top or the bottom, just so that it starts to look soft. Now let's add some imperfections using the splatter tool. Set the size at 4 and opacity at 40. So you just want to sample colors from the petal and then just add in those little dots. And I'll just zoom in so you can see there. Just little imperfections, little dots. Let's continue adding texture. Let's use the soft pastel tool. Let's set the size and opacity at 40. And under the red palette, I'm using the second color on the top row. And I'm gonna just shade the edges of the petal. So it's just adding in some texture. You can also sample the lighter color of the petal and just lay it across. So just continue and just bring it all throughout that petal so there's lots of texture. You can also add some more little imperfections with the pen tool, size 1, opacity 60. I'm using the first color and second color from the red palette, just drawing little dots here and there. And then you can also just use the smear tool, size 1, and just blend softly the little imperfections in the petal. You can also draw longer ones that come down, like almost like the petal is ripped and sprinkled and it's starting to decay. To finish it off, just apply the steps to the rest of the rose. To push it further, you can also add little dewdrops. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.